Hello, everybody, and welcome to a campaign kind of teaser setup. Hello, what's going to happen here for our next run here with me and Fen. If you don't know, we recently finished a run of the 1.6 for Kingdom Death on the simulator together. Do I have that right?
Yeah. 1.31 was the first release, 1.5 was the redo, 1.6 is the legendary card packs. Yeah, it's 1.6.
And that was the one that we just finished. It was, our settlement was called Arkham, and it was cursed almost immediately. It was just the vibes were off. And then we started to record a second campaign run, but when we finished I think it was our third Lantern year, we were about, they released the Gambler's Chest here on the Kingdom Death Simulator, and we were both like, well, you know, that run was also looking a little bit cursed. Is this something we want to keep doing, or do we want to try playing with this Gambler's Chest stuff? Because I hear it's pretty good. That was answered for us pretty quickly when you told me that it was basically like destroyed our settlement. There wasn't much left.
Yeah. So they put out a warning that you need to tidy everything away in order to be able to, because they're going to do a full dwelling reset, which is fair enough. But also there was a bug for some people's stone clouds, and as you'd see it, like perhaps even in the videos, I just couldn't get any survivors to go in there, and we ended up with a settlement that had only 3 recorded survivors. We had backups, but that would have required re-importing them all in again and waiting a year or so before we got to play with the Gambler's Chest. And I was like, I'm just going to use this as an excuse to play with the Gambler's Chest, because let's show Justin Kingdom Death as I like it.
Yeah, and also, like, I mean, you were kind of like teasing the Gambler's Chest the entire time. You were like, ooh, there's an update coming. Maybe this is the Gambler's Chest, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think they timed it at like a perfect time for like all that. Like around Black Friday is when it came out, which is kind of like, you know, a pretty big time for Kingdom Death in kind of its like, for all of its releases.
There was definitely the push for it,
and then also, so even though I went from like base Kingdom Death into this, I'm not personally too concerned about the complexity creep that I imagine is going to be happening here. Also, just because I play a lot of games, and I actually found Kingdom Death to be a very easy game to understand as it is. So while I might be jumping into the deep end, I'm very excited to be jumping into the deep end. The part of this video that we're doing is to say, hey, we're going to kind of like talk about everything we're going to be interacting with, all of our monsters, our nemesises are for all this, nemesi if you're naughty, but also because we're recording this on December 4th, and we had a backlog of videos that we were ready to start pushing out this time to do our second campaign. However, because of this whole reset, we've lost that backlog, and I and you also, like, we like to work with a backlog when we do this kind of content creation because it just makes it less stressful. So this is here as kind of a placeholder to say that a new campaign is coming, but it's going to be slightly delayed. You can expect it to start early 2026. I'm hoping early January. If not, depending on how like we're able to record over the holiday season, February as well. But it is coming, and then it's going to be at the usual every other week cadence that we had for our first run. And with all that boring stuff out of the way, I'll throw this to you to kind of talk about the Gambler's Chest and the approach that we're going to be doing for our monsters and all that stuff.
Yep. Okay. So the Gambler's Chest, if you come over here, you'll see there's now 2 boxes.
Wow.
It's a
little box.
This is the little box here. It goes in there.
Wow.
Nice. So Gambler's Chest is... It's not quite as tall as the core box chest because it doesn't have quite as much content, but it does. It was originally meant to be a bunch of stretch goals.
Okay.
And then Adam made a dice roll and turned it into something bigger. And yes, he rolled the dice on the decision. I'm not ever going to forget that because I love the Gambler's Chest. I don't entirely approve of the process that got to it.
Okay.
I kind of think if your Kickstarter's bringing in several million, maybe you shouldn't make a decision to change things on a dice roll. But it is what it is, and we're here. So the the Gambler's Chest essentially comes with an entire like framework campaign to play through it, which we're not going to use because I think we should still play with People of the Lantern until we at least get to the Goldsmoke Night. Yeah. So I've basically put together here. This is my preferred campaign setup. And let's talk about the various mechanics that are laid out here first. So we have, over here, this is our little settlement corner, ready set up for the first Lantern Year. The big difference you'll see is there's this dashboard here. So this is a system of philosophies. And what you have is you've got a thing called collective cognition, and as you hunt new and different monsters, you'll gain points in it. Like the prologue monster is worth 1 point. A level 1 monster of the same monster is worth another 1 point, but then no more level 1s of that particular monster are worth anything. If you want any more points, you've got to fight level 2s, and that's 2 level 2s will pay out, and so on. So you're constantly pushed forward to bigger and harder monsters. We don't have official rules on how you play it if you've got multiple of the same node monster. So what I usually do is I just say, okay, well, you just accumulate the points for one of the 2 node 1 monsters, so it keeps the same progression speed. You've got some side options if you want to go that
so
way.
it's like by node as opposed to by monster. Yeah.
And it only really matters for node 1 and node 3. That's where we've got a couple. Okay, so in order to showcase this, if you just come over here where I set up the board, I have I've brought in some familiar faces or names.
Hey, they're back! The pantry goes again!
The pantry, this is the pantry of an alternate reality. So if you'd like to flip over one of these 2 knowledge cards that you see, I'll explain how they work. Okay. So, this is Darkness. A knowledge card is a replacement for fighting arts. If you see on the sheet, you'll see now you have a maximum of 1 of each fighting art and secret fighting art.
Oh, okay.
And when you gain a fighting art, you have to go through a little event that basically means you're probably not going to get the fighting art. You're also very unlikely to draw fighting arts anyway.
Okay.
Instead, knowledges work a bit like fighting arts, but they level up. So this is the level 1 version of Darkness. This in the top left corner is like a lummy cost. That's like a thing that survivors accumulate. They use to buy knowledges. That'll make sense when we're at a stage where you can buy them. Then it has some text. In this case, it gives you +1 torment, which you subtract from your brain trauma roll results, which means you're more likely to suffer a fatal brain trauma.
Okay. Yeah.
But also it has on the bottom here observations, and it says as you suffer brain damage, you gain +1 observation. And if you manage to get this many observations, 5, you will progress to Darkness 2. What that does is this card disappears from the game, and Darkness 2 comes in, and there is a deck of knowledges. It'll be replaced there. You track your knowledges on the bottom in this right hand side here.
Okay.
And you'll have, you can see here, we've got like spaces for 2 knowledges, and then up here is a philosophy. So that, if we come back over here, I will grab the very top card of this. So this is preset to the top of the deck, so it's not a huge thing. So every survivor has, once they reach age 1, so 2 Hunt XP, gains a philosophy. And they'll draw from this little philosophy deck, which is randomly determined except for the very first survivor, and they will get a themed package with its own ranks and its own tables you roll on as you rank up, and they will unlock stat boosts, maybe new gear, and new sort of knowledges, and the survivors will get those, and then they'll also go into this knowledge deck, which is here, which works a bit like the settlement innovation deck in some ways, in that it is a pooled deck that you're drawing from.
Nice.
And so you get evolving fighting arts is the best way to describe knowledges. They tend to start off weaker and end up a lot stronger.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's also, within this pile, there is monster-specific knowledges as well, themed by the quarries and so on that we're facing.
It's kind of fun.
So there's always a little bit of extra flavour to all of that. I'm also... There's also the best set bonus in the entire game, which is one that you gain through Ark Survivors that doesn't require you to have a matching set to get the bonus.
Ooh, okay.
Which
No, in our luck,
means,
we won't get it.
yeah, it's nice because it means you're not constantly feel pressured to grab a specific set. You're more like concentrating on what armor can we get, can we put it together a bit better, etc. It's really, really nice.
Nice, yeah.
Yep. So down here on the page, if I go to the next page, you'll see here, this is our little collective cognition tracking track. So we'll keep a total on the amount of collective cognition. This is where we'll record, like, I'm going to use node rather than the specific ones, just to keep that even, as I talked about. Same with Nemesis. You can see that Nemesis monsters pay out a lot higher. And this is a list of the little... These are specific for the people of the Dreamkeeper, but some of these are sort of similar. Gives you an idea of kind of the breakpoints that we're looking at for each. So I'll put that to the previous page, which this is all more familiar kind of stuff-ish. So let's get on to...
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, isn't it nice? It's a nice big space, yeah.
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 Okay.
Yep. Right, so then let's get on to one of the other things. So, seed patterns. I've talked about those in the past, haven't I?
I believe so, yeah.
I think.
It sounds somewhat familiar.
Somewhat familiar. Okay, let me grab... this is the seed pattern deck, and I'm going to grab a, seed pattern that's not appearing in this. Mm-hmm. So just to sort of highlight it. Let's just get one for... Let's see... Here we are, white line. Okay. So, the seed pattern deck will be constructed under certain circumstances. And it's a separate deck, a bit like the innovation deck. It's going to have a load of cards in it that are a generic seed, and then also some that are to specific monsters. These are like recipes that crop up from ideas the survivors have. They're unusual in that, first of all, top left, that's the maximum number you can craft. So you can only have one of that in the settlement. Over here on the right tells you this is the era it is, and that means you have to use resources from that monster node or higher. So this one's any monster node because it's the lowest era. Then you've got your recipe as stuff is spent here, but also you've got these little bits about how it's put together and other things that are needed. So if we look at this, we can see not only do we need a cat fang knife, we also need a lucky charm, we need a broken lantern, a sword beetle, and then the most insane survivor is impacted by it and they gain secretive as a part of the whole thing, and then they shave, shape, and bend the bone to make this thing.
Nice. Okay, so it's like it has effects, but it's also like it's telling a lot of flavor here is what I'm getting to. There's a lot of kind of that vibe with it.
A lot of character, and there's a lot of very interesting and powerful things within this deck.
Nice.
There is also indomitable patterns and blackback patterns. Indomitable patterns come from indomitable resources. When you kill a level 3 monster of a given node, you'll gain a random indomitable resource from them. Okay. Most of the monsters in our campaign have indomitable resources, but not all of them, because they haven't received them yet. But that's a little incentive to hunt like the higher level monsters a few times and find these really cool, unusual weapons.
Nice.
And other bits and pieces. In fact, they're not just weapons. Okay. So, let's get on to this big thing over here. Mm-hmm. This is an entirely new kind of monster. They are called encounter monsters, and I think I've before said I've equated this is a simplified version of a dungeon crawl.
Yes.
Very simplified. These guys here are wandering monsters. So they will eventually, one will get put into the hunt deck and may turn up, and when it does, we'll have to face the Bone Eaters. Here's one. Here he is. This is, I believe he's called Skull, this guy.
He does have a skull on.
Yeah.
And
or is he
that's
knife?
it.
I can't remember. I think he's have skull knife, yeah. So you can learn a bit more about Bone Eaters as and when we play, because the lore may fall out while playing. But they're like a mini showdown that happens placed on this board. Mm-hmm. During the whole hunt, with a separate chance for gaining various bone benefits, weapon proficiency advances, and similar.
Nice.
They will turn up a maximum of 4 times in a campaign,
Okay.
and then they're gone. So
Okay.
the wandering monsters, I definitely think is the best way to sort of describe them.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I think it's a really fun, nice addition. We may well see the simulator hide this board away. I've been testing it out, and it seems like whenever I set up the showdown board,
These guys vanish.
this one disappears, and when I set this up, this one disappears, and it's like,
Okay.
could I just keep them out, please, game?
Yeah.
But it's not my choice. Yeah, so that's the really big changes. In fact, beyond that, would you like? I can pull them out of the cabinet now. We can meet our cast.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll pause the video while you're pulling it out too.
Oh no, I'm going to pull them out with the I can use the F3 surge token.
Oh, even better. Then I will
better.
watch with bated breath.
Yeah, so we have, first of all, here our first Nova monster, and our prologue monster is the Crimson Crocodile. This wasn't pitched as part of the original Kickstarter. It has fast become... as soon as I saw the model, I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's a great model.
It reminds me of the crocodile from the... was it the Arthurian Disney film? Is it Sword in the Stone?
Oh, yeah, Sword in the Stone, yeah.
I think. Or Black Cauldron.
Or Black Cauldron, yeah, one of the two. Yeah.
There's a witch who turns herself into a crocodile at one point, and that's what this always reminds me of. But yeah, I love it. It is one of my top 3 monsters in the game.
Nice.
You're never completely safe against it, but it is absolutely fair. So then next up, we've got the... your friend and mine. You're familiar with this one. Yep. This will be our second Nova monster, the Frog Dog.
Frog Dog.
Who is...
So, yeah. For context, this guy was here in our first run of the pantry that didn't make it. The one that got...
The empty pantry. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it won't be a blind run in our YouTube, but if you want to watch, I'm going to put them on our Patreon. And I'll put them at the lowest tier as well. So if you want to watch it, you can hop in for a month and grind through them all.
Yeah, you can see my immediate forgetting of how the lily pads work, and then we have to reset the prologue fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then we got the choice. So I'm going to. Either of these are fine. So first of all, this is the one that you picked originally in our first video.
Yeah.
So the other option for Node 2 is the Smog Singers.
Yeah. So yeah, this one's very intriguing because I know there are 3 minis for it.
Yeah. It is it's effectively a monster with 3 bodies is the best way to think of it mechanically, because they share a health pool and they share moves.
I love the Screaming Antelope. I actually think the Screaming Antelope is a very enjoyable fight. I think the flavor's really good. And if these Smog Singers weren't here, I would choose the Antelope again. But I'm very intrigued by these guys, and I think it's going to be a fun fight. So why don't we just dive in and do these Smog Singers for our Node 2?
Okay, sure. That means no chance of the Nucalope turning up later on. That's fine. Off to the shelf with you. So we've got our Smog Singers. I love these guys. The pernicious prawns, the singing shrimp. They're really fun. Okay, so that's our first lot of quarries. Then we have, as previously, these guys don't have whatchamacallums? Indomitable resources yet, but
Sunstalker.
The Sunstalker does have some patterns. Sunstalker at Node 3, a sun speed-based monster with some minions. And the big boy.
Yep.
One of my favourites, the Dragon King.
Okay. And these are both Node 3, right?
These are both Node 3, yeah.
Yeah.
We're playing them together because they have some really nice synergies together, but also they've got future content coming designed around playing them both together in the same campaign, so I think it's nice to showcase how that works. Yeah. So that's our Node 3s.
Yeah, no Phoenix. I think we both were like, no, that's okay.
The Phoenix does have indomitable resources, and it has some very good ones, but... I like to make my interactions with the Phoenix a maximum of once every couple of years if I can avoid it. Yeah. But we do now have a proper Node for monster. So this is going to create an interesting moment where we're going to have to talk about what we're doing in regards to the Watcher, because this is the King. So the King is part of the same faction as the Kingsmen.
Okay.
The Kingsmen herald the coming of the King, but they don't have to be in the same campaign. In fact, they're not in the same campaign in the Gambler's Chest. The interesting point is that the King will not turn up until after Lantern Year 20.
Okay.
And the Watcher has a mechanic that pushes all monsters, you have to fight them at level 3. So we're going to have to decide if we want to delay the Watcher and fight a couple of lower level Kings and make the Watcher harder, or if we're just willing to do what Trent Dennison did on his channel and jump straight in against level 3 Kings. And let me tell you, Trent's better at the game than I am, so I'd rather push things back if that's the way it comes. But this is one of the first monsters where I really feel the time pressure whenever I'm fighting it. It genuinely feels like you're on a clock, which isn't common unless things are going horribly wrong. I think you've noticed, like, often with you have these moments where you can just be like, okay, we can dial back, we can take a little bit of time, reposition. That's kind of goes out the window with the King.
Okay.
So so that is our quarry selection.
Okay.
Our core nemesis monsters will be the Watcher and the Gold Smoke Knight. Should we pull them out for purposes of demonstrating them, or should we leave them?
I mean, I think they'll all look really nice on the table together. It can be a good thumbnail photo.
Yep. So here we go. Here is our Watcher.
Yeah, we know and love him.
Yeah, we do. We've met him before. He kept us away from meeting the Gold Smoke Knight, our sad robot. He's not really a robot, but I like referencing Solemn Simulacrum whenever I can.
Yep, makes sense.
He's a sad lion, really.
He is, yeah.
And also, I'd like to point this out. This is really funny. His hammer, they've modelled it on the wrong way around. If you look at the little head down here, you can see the spot where the hammer's meant to face down and connect onto the base. It has a connection point. But everybody puts the hammer facing up. And it's always funny to me because I look and I'm like, I can see where it's supposed to go every time.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so these guys are setting our campaign. They're setting the sort of core heart of it all in the core story. We are then going to have, as our node 1 monster, this guy, the Pariah. So for context for our first one, we had the Pariah for our node 1. We never got to fight him, so I'll be blind going into that one. And he's very new to you too, right? So like very very new to me. Yeah. But he actually, for the purposes of even more, I think he has 2 forms.
Hey, let's go.
And you can see the difference in age between the sculpts. This guy's like pushing over half a decade in age, and this one's 2020s, somewhere around that.
Yeah.
They've done some great work to scale this guy up, though. So, the Pariah. And the Pariah has synergy with our node 2s, which, let's see if I can just get them. There is another 3 monster things. So first of all, there'll be these little guys turning up in it. And then the actual bosses are going to turn up one at a time. So this is the first Red Witch. She'll appear first. And then the second Red Witch is this one, who's actually on my painting table right now.
Nice.
These guys are a pain to paint for me, because I don't like leaving the places in like shadow and behind. I don't like have them all fully assembled, so I have to paint them all in pieces and then put them together as I'm going. And then the third and final one, just see if I can find her. I might have to go over to the cabinet. She's not showing up. I'll have to go over to the cabinet and get her.
That's okay. I will do a cinematic shot going across them all.
Yeah.
You can't scroll fast, chat. I'm sorry. I'll do a rotate. Whoa.
Yeah, there she is. Okay, inventory, and here we go. So, there she is. So this is the third one. So the way that this will work is initially there'll just be this one in the first showdown, and then these 2,
and
then all 3, and they have their own boxes and separate like cards and everything. They are unlike the Smog Singers, who are all very sort of the same thing. These guys are all doing separate, different things.
Cool.
And you have to deal with them individually, so it feels very different, even though it's another three monster fight.
I mean, you can see the years of design as well, right? That going from the White Lion to this scaling Red Witch fight seems really neat.
Yeah. Look at him, poor guy.
Poor guy. Still a great fight though. Still probably one of my favorites. He's a very, very fun fight.
Yeah. Like I recently did a full sort of pre-Black Friday walkthrough, and I said for the purposes of the like given a baseline of how I think things are, I gave all the guys in the core game a grade as well, and I frankly I think that the White Lion is at least an A grade, sometimes even S tier for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the only thing I think that's a shame is I don't think the armor is quite great, but I think for teaching the game, for learning, it's doing everything you want it to do.
Yep.
It's absolutely fantastic. And then our final, instead of the hand, we're going to have this guy, the Black Knight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Who has his own separate board and rules. He's fantastic.
So that's our cast of characters that we're going to be working with this one.
Yep.
And hopefully our pantry is able to be filled with goodness and we can see some of these cool fights. Because I'll tell you, the last one wasn't looking great.
It was just incredible. One slight positional mistake and one forgetting about survival actions caused a cascade event, and then we failed to roll a single replacement population.
Yep.
Wild. It was just not to be. But yeah.
All right.
Oh, and there's these guys will be in it as well. There's actually 5 of them total.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is that it? Should I say goodbye to everybody and we can start recording the prologue?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good little introduction to everything that's going to be going on. The rest of it is sort of learn as we go along, because it's easier to explain when the elements are in front. So yeah.
So hopefully this is enough to tide you over and get some excitement for our next campaign, which, as I mentioned, is going to be starting in early 2026. I don't know the exact date, but you can look forward to it. It is coming. This is our gang of characters, and it's going to be a great time. I'm very much looking forward to it. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.